Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome you to our regular board meeting. We are located at 2350 South 25th Avenue. It is now 7:39. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham.
Here.
Trustee Chalmalavi.
Here.
Trustee Senior is absent. Mayor Thompson.
Here.
Trustee Shelby.
Here.
Trustee Armour.
Here.
Trustee Miller is absent. Madam President, we have a quorum. Can we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Director Ames, can you open up that back door, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we all please have a moment of silence? Thank you. At this time, I'd like to respectfully remind all board members when it's your turn to speak to kindly speak into the mic. We are recording and streaming. Thank you. Next is item 2, public comment. Madam President, at this time, I have not received any public comment. Moving on to item 3, communications. First, from Illinois Housing Development Authority, we have the single-family rehabilitation program with roof-only option. Homeowners whose properties have fallen into disrepair may qualify for up to $45,000 or up to $16,500 for a roof-only rehab assistance from the state of Illinois to improve the health and safety of their homes. For more information or for an application, you can visit Village Hall here at the Administrative Department during regular business hours. Next, we have the Proviso Handyman Department. This is out of the Proviso Township. January 2023 announcement. Are your holiday boxes ready to be stored in your attic or basement? Call and we will help put them away. Handyman services provide various services for seniors through the Proviso Township office. You can contact them directly for more information. And that concludes communications this evening. Next, item 4, consideration to approve the following minutes. Minutes from the December 5th, 2022 regular board meeting.
We need a motion.
I motion to approve the December the 5th regular. Second. Minutes.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Armour, seconded by Trustee Abraham. And please let the record reflect.
Let the record reflect that that was not trustee
Was
Armour.
that you, Shelby?
Shelby, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Yes.
I apologize. The motion was made by Trustee Shelby, seconded by Trustee Abraham. And please let the record reflect that at 7:42, Trustee Senior arrived to the meeting. Madam President?
Thank you. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments for the minutes?
No.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalavi? Thank you. Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
No questions.
Trustee Miller is absent. Mr. Clerk?
Roll call. Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalavi.
Yes.
Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes.
Trustee Armour.
Abstain.
Trustee Miller is absent. Madam President, this carries 4-0, 1 abstention. Thank you all. Next, item 5, consideration to approve expenditures. Grand total of all funds, $1,077,253.32 for the period December 14th, 2022.
Motion to approve. Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Abraham. Madam President?
Thank you. Trustee Shelby, the Finance Chairwoman, will you please read the warrant list?
Yes. Okay, the vendors. All right. AAREC in the amount of $5,586.35. A-Lamp Concrete Contractors Incorporated, $375,281.75. L. Warren Oil Company Incorporated, $11,467.02. AT&T
$2,752.73. B&F Construction Code Services, $17,434.58. Ciobra Group, $24,938.02. Comcast Business, $3,784.17. Groot Incorporated, $56,838.72. Davis Bancup Incorporated, $6,000. Delgado Law Group LLC, $12,423.75. Edwin Hancock Engineering, $17,500. Fire Service Incorporated, $4,882.05.
That's 50 cents.
Oh, 50 cent, I'm sorry. Geno's Heating and Plumbing Incorporated, $42,470.95. H&H Electric Company, $5,128.76. Lincoln National Life Insurance, $6,852.08. Joseph L. Ponsetto, $8,580. Landscape Material and Firewood, $12,000. Laudenbrecht and Amen LLP, $2,860. Mecca Tree Service Incorporated, $5,000. Montana and Welch LLC, $8,072.75. Nicor Gas, $4,592.67. Ryan Real Estate Services LLC, $2,500. South Central Capital Group LLC, $8,375. Tesca Associates Incorporated, $6,306.20. Tier Point LLC, $2,771.14. T&T Towing and Recovery Incorporated, $3,850. Tradeland Properties, $100,000. Triggy Construction Incorporated, $273,067.06. West Cook County Solid Waste Agency, $17,464.70. The total of expenditures over $2,500 was $1,048,781.08, which is 97% of total expenditures in the amount of $1,077,253.32. We had a manual payment. The vendor is JJ Effect Incorporated, dated December the 6th, 2022. The check number is 83731 for $400. We also had an electronic payment. The vendor's a Chase credit card, and the payments were reflecting as of November the 25th, 2022, in the amount of $10,539. Okay, the following funds were affected by these expenditures. There was a general fund in the amount of $279,071.74. We have the garbage fund in the amount of $74,303.42. The motor fuel fund, tax fund, in the amount of $45,350.10. We have the CDBG fund in the amount of $245,200 $216.96. The Roosevelt Road TIF Fund in the amount of $8,646.20. We also have the 17th Avenue TIF North was $828.75. We have the Capital Projects Fund in the amount of $745. The Water and Sewage Fund in the amount of $423,091.15, again for a grand total of $1,077,253.32. And Madam President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Shelby. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments?
None, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Thank you. Trustee Chalmalave? Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
No questions,
Thank you.
balanced.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk?
Roll call, Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Chamalave. Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes.
Trustee Armour.
Yep.
Trustee Armour.
Yes.
And Trustee Miller is absent. Madam President, this carries 5-0 to pay the bills. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Item 6, presentations. We have none at this time. Bringing us to item 7, village officer reports, which are presented every second meeting of the month, starting with the building department, Commissioner David Upshaw.
Good evening.
As it relates to 2412 South 9th Avenue, the demolition of that property, we are still awaiting Cook County approval. Once we receive their approval, then we will be able to move forward with the demolition of that property. Our goal is to get that done this year. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but that's what we're shooting for. Number 2 is that the business licenses invoices for 2023 have gone out, and we've started receiving payment already for those invoices for the upcoming year. And then lastly, this afternoon, December 19th at 1 p.m., SCT, which is located at 2100 West Roosevelt Road. It's an occupational health and minor care clinic, which the board approved, I believe, at the last board meeting or the meeting in November. They had their ribbon cutting ceremony. It was well attended, and the facility is just outstanding. It's fabulous. Had an opportunity to meet the owners of the facility, as well as the vice president, and Mayor Thompson spoke. That concludes my report. I'll entertain any questions at this time.
Thank you, Commissioner Upshaw. Trustee Abraham?
No questions.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
No questions.
Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. Please let the record reflect at 7:51, Trustee Miller arrived to the meeting. Next, we have the Finance Department, Finance Director Tim Hicks.
Good evening, Mayor, Board, residents.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The board report for the Finance Department is on file. I'll give a brief highlight year-to-date revenue totals for the general fund. We're at about $12.3 million, which is about $4.4 million ahead of budget. Total expenses year-to-date are $7.5 million, which is about $1.9 million above favorable to budget. Right now, we're had a operating income of about $4 million, which is about $1.5 million ahead of the pace that we set for year-to-date budget at this point. At this time, I entertain any questions.
Thank you, Director Hicks. Trustee Abraham?
No questions.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave? Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
I don't have any questions right now.
Thank you. Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Thank you. Director Hicks, I do have a couple of questions.
Sure.
As it relates to our property tax revenue, are we starting to see that trickle in for
We still haven't seen the property tax revenues trickle in as we would expect. As most are aware, the property tax bills went out extremely late. And one thing I would say, and kudos to all the department heads, is that with that, we really monitored our spending and tapered our spending to the income levels that came in. So when the tax revenues do come in, it'll be a significant windfall for us.
Thank you. And then my last question, and I don't see the budget officer here, is in reference to the bond, the 2003 A series. Didn't we pay that off?
I'm not sure which series it was, but we did pay off one. We paid a bunch of debt service this particular month. So I'm not particular know which ones we paid off and which ones was just actual payments.
Okay, that concludes my questions. When we had the finance committee meeting, can we put that in the presentation on the debt that we've been paying off? Because that's big for us.
Yeah, that definitely would be. And I think one of the things is we structured the debt so that we would be in a position to pay off one of the outstanding bonds that have been lingering for a long time.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Director. Next is the Fire Department Chief Tracy Kinney.
Good evening, Mayor, trustees, residents, and department heads.
Good evening.
Again, my report is on file too, but some highlights are, not highlights, we had some difficult times. We had a fire last week, just across the street from here. And as the mayor pointed out over a robocall we had on Saturday, we do have a family in Maywood, and we do have a family in our own town that could use some help. And we mentioned maybe cards at restaurants or fast food places. So if you can spread the word on that, that's really what those families need right now as they are displaced, and getting meals that's the best way to go for them. Also, I would like to thank the mayor and Administrator Jones. We had an excellent class on mental health this past week. It's usually just police and fire that get this kind of education, but the entire village staff, department heads, administrative assistants, we're all educated. So we can all, if something's happening within the building here, they know who to alert and they know how to handle it and how to speak to somebody, especially their own staff members. So it was a class that it really will help all of us. So I just want to thank you for that. And that is it for my report.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham?
No questions.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
No, I just didn't hear families that we could help them by
Gift cards for restaurants or fast food restaurants.
where, and they're displaced, are they still in the area?
They have found displaced and they don't have a home right now, but as far as getting meals and things like that, they could really use somewhere to go to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
For the family that's homeless, have we tried contacting a community, like a 401k, like Housing Forward, Sarah's Inn?
We definitely, we always go above and beyond at the scene. Red Cross helps for a couple days, and after that, these families have found some housing through some services, as well as other families with their own family right now while they recover from this. So they're all under roof. It's just good during this time to help them with meals.
Okay, and do we bring, if we want to bring like some gift cards over, do we bring them to the
To the
fire
firehouse, I'm
department?
sorry. Thank you for pointing that out. I am collecting them at the firehouse.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Miller?
No questions.
So Chief Kenny, you brought up a couple of things as it relates to the gift cards. So what we're finding when families are displaced and they have nowhere to go, and we collect all of these items for them, like clothes, shoes. I mean, the essentials is like the toiletries, toothpaste, soap, towels, and that type of stuff, and maybe underwear if it's a complete loss in the fire. And so talking to one of the families on Saturday that was displaced, it was like, we really need to have access to food. So I thought the gift card would be the best way to go, even though they're living with loved ones. Maybe we could get gift cards to like Amazon Fresh, so that they can go grocery shopping, so that they can cook a meal, or if they want to go to a restaurant, you know, give them some gift cards where they can get meals for that. So that's how the gift card thing came up, because they have nowhere to put stuff. And so we don't want to give them stuff that they can't take nowhere with them. So it was easy for them to have the gift cards to get them food. The other thing you mentioned was the mental health training, and this was the adult training. And why it's so important that we continue to educate not only our staff, but our whole entire community. And so we're working with the entity that did the training for us to do a community base. And the only thing is it's 8 hours, and you have to be here for 8 hours or wherever they're gonna host it at to do the training. But I did get a couple of residents that reached out through social media asking could they have the same training that we're getting, because we had to close the municipal building to provide this service. But when we talk about mental health, we're not talking about, sometimes we make assumptions on people's mental capacities. We use words like they bipolar or they cray-cray, but really it's an emotional behavior that has not been diagnosed. And so we all have experienced that, right? And so we need to know how to interact with the public, because we work with the public every single day. And we don't want to make assumptions. We don't want to make judgments on somebody, but we want to be able to identify and get them to a source so that they can get the proper care that they need for whatever crises they may be going through at that time. So the purpose of me bringing that in-house was so important, because we deal with so many different personalities. The public, internal with the staff, how we interact with one another, and we've actually gotten a lot of great feedback from the training. So our next training for the staff is going to be at the end of the month, and that's going to be for the youth mental health, because you have to handle them different than you do the adults. And so we're going to do that again at the end of the month, but hopefully the organization that we work with, we're able to bring that to the community, so everybody that want to get trained, they can. And the certification is legit certification, and it's a certification for 3 years. So it's the same concept as if we're doing CPR training, but this is mental health training. And we all have to be proactive and take part in this conversation, because it's a real thing. It's happening to us every day. People live in silos, and they suffer in silence. And when you suffer in silence, that's when things go wrong. And so if we can help in the village of Broadview, that's our ultimate goal, because in the village of Broadview, we love. We don't attack. We don't make assumptions. We don't change the narratives. We talk about what's the facts and what's the truth. And the truth is we have to all be a part of mental health, all of us, not just one person or one board or one department head. It's all of us involved with this. So I commend the administrator and the department heads for, getting their teams together and bringing this forward. This is just an important conversation that's near and dear to me, because we're seeing so many suicides. And we just saw a couple this past week. So if we can prevent it and we train and have the right tools to do so, we can do better. So thank you.
Physically, when we see someone struggling, we know the signs to look for to start CPR. If we do the same thing with someone who's having an emotional situation, and we know those signs, we can say and do the right things and get the right help.
Yep.
So I appreciate it a lot.
Oh,
Helps us.
absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Next is the Police Department Chief, Thomas Mills.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees,
Good evening.
residents, staff. First of all, happy holidays to all. You all should have my November report in your packet, but just a few things I will make mention. We had a 7.7% decrease in for the Broadview Police Department on calls for service, where they actually responded from 1,200. Well, it was 1,110 for November versus 1,200 the month before. And the Ike 911 Center had a 6.7% decrease in calls for service for both Broadview and Maywood. We have 2 new recruits starting the academy January 2nd. They will be attending College DuPage, which is one African-American male and one Hispanic male. One is leaving from the Department of Corrections to start a new career in policing. And another gentleman is a school security officer in the suburbs, and we're very excited. They came with great reviews, and they scored well on our tests, and we're looking forward to having them here. In the month of November, we sent all our officers for training on racial profiling, implicit bias, and cultural competency. We chose those 3 subjects because we all live in a very diverse world now, and even though Broadview is a small community, it's very diverse, and it's very important for us to provide professional services to our residents and our business owners and the people that we run across every day. It was very important for them to receive the training on racial profiling, even though they may not realize they're doing it, and it's really just a matter of words. So they had that training, and they all did very well. Again, I would like to thank the mayor and Mrs. Jones for putting together that in-service training for mental health. And we piggybacked off of that training. We had mandatory training and like a Q&A session with our officers for the next 2 days. And we had Rachel Jacobs, who's our police crisis worker, to sit in, and he gave the officers the opportunity to ask any questions as well. And it was surprisingly, there was a lot of questions that came out from the officers and really about their family members, you know. So I thought it was a good step moving forward to get them to speak about, you know, normally people don't always admit it. They'll use third party, third person, but at least they're not afraid to engage, and we're gonna have much more conversation as it pertains to that. We still have extra patrols going in the Broadview Square Mall as well as the Roseville Road corridors in the evening. All the business owners in both locations seem to be very happy with what they are seeing, and we're going to continue that to the 26th of December. And then we'll gauge where we are at that point. I don't have anything else at that point if you have any questions.
Thank you, Chief Mills. Trustee Abraham?
Yes, can you please congratulate Officer Brandy, right?
Okay.
She's moving over to the detective. That was
Yes.
awesome. Good for, you know, good for that. The other thing, thank you for doing with your patrols. Obviously, I was out shopping,
Sure.
so I was able to see quite a few of our police cars, either with the lights on
Yes.
or just in the mall. So it was very good to see that, as well as up and down Roosevelt Road. So with all the traffic,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
hopefully there's been no accidents, you know, with all this traffic that's going on Roosevelt and Cermak. But great job,
Thank you.
what you guys did. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Senior.
Yeah, you guys are doing an amazing job.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Trustee Chamalave. Thank you, Trustee Shelby.
No questions.
Trustee Armour.
No questions for the chief.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, Trustee Miller.
Just on the documents that we received today for the department head reports, the first line of your report is completely cut off. It just starts with calls for service as compared. So I'm believing it's what you addressed in your very first statement, but that very first bullet point is missing.
Okay, I'm sorry. Well, the way it should read is during the month of November 2022, members of the Broadview Police Department responded to 1,110 calls for service as compared to 1,200 calls for service in October 2022 for a decrease of 7.7%.
Great, so all I see is calls for service.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's it, thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Miller. Chief Mills, before you leave the podium, can you talk about the community meeting we had with State's Attorney Fox?
Yes. So I was invited with the mayor to go to PLCCA for a really in-depth, down-home type meeting with Cook County State's Attorney Kim Fox. I personally thought the meeting was very well. She really shared a lot of points of how the criminal justice system works here in Cook County. You know, I know everyone hears about the crime, and you know, there's a lot of finger pointing and blame going back and forth, but it's a really tedious process in getting convictions and getting people charged with felonies. And what was good about it, she broke it down in layman terms to the community as how the process works. Because a lot of times, victims feel they don't get the justice they want, and she explained the process. And a lot of times law enforcement gets that blame because we're the first ones who interact with the victims. And if we catch the bad guy and we try to do what we need to do, and we call the Cook County State's Attorney's Office for felony charges, and you know, they review their lawyers, and they may require us to do more for the investigation, and sometimes it's hard to meet that burden, or you don't have the witnesses, which is very hard right now. And that's why it's so important, like I said earlier in my presentation, that we had training on racial profiling, implicit biases, and cultural competency, because we have to do a better job in law enforcement and winning over the trust of the community so they can become productive witnesses. And I understand people are afraid sometimes, but in order to win the fight on crime, we all have to work together, both community, policing, state's attorney's office, the mayor, the board of trustees, all these outside resources collectively to win that battle. So she did explain it. It was very well. What she does share with us, and the mayor shares with us as well, she has a new person in her office who shares the village's crime concerns as she receives them, where we are with our numbers in terms of conviction rate. You know, I don't want to brag and knock on wood, but right now, you know, the crimes I don't want to use the word suffer, but we're dealing with like catalytic converters, retail thefts, and simple thefts, auto thefts, things like that. Any crime is too much crime, but we don't have the violent crimes that a lot of other municipalities that surround us, you know, they're occurring, they're dealing with. So most of our call-ins are upgrades for domestics, upgrades for thefts, possession of stolen motor vehicles. And what that report allows us to see, and we can share with our officers, the job that they're doing, how they're being recognized as well, and it shows us that we're at 70% for the month on our convictions or felony charges approved and things like that. So I thought it was an excellent presentation, Mayor, because it showed that she was reaching back out, and not just through conversation. We started getting those reports maybe 6 months ago, and they have not lapsed at one time. So, you know, I think it's building great rapport between the municipalities and the Cook County State's Attorney's Office.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Next is the Public Works Department, Director Matt Ames.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees, everyone in
Good
attendance.
evening.
You all have my report on file, but some summaries from at least the last reporting. We did conclude our meeting with Total Parking Solutions, Chief Mills and I. The kiosks have been ordered. We're looking to have them delivered 4 to 6 weeks. I believe Clerk McGreer did share with the Board of Trustees a pro forma that was requested at the last board meeting. It was decided that for right now, we would have them program our rates at $1 an hour. The 4 lots will be online as soon as those kiosks are delivered and the signs are put up. So I believe the chief has a plan for enforcement with some license plate readers and so forth. We did hire Ms. Jones, and I thank you, Ms. Jones, for the assistance. We interviewed for our seasonal positions, and we hired 3 seasonal employees to help us with the upcoming snow and ice removal, which Thursday should be the first significant event around here. So those that have not planned, maybe you want to check your forecast, but Thursday through Christmas Day should be some blizzard-like weather. So if you haven't shopped and gotten the essentials, I would suggest you use the next 2 days to do it. I know ComEd vegetation, and we did put on our Facebook page, and we also forwarded it to the mayor's office for posting on the website. So if you see ComEd spraying herbicide out for vegetation control, that's exactly what it is. So before anybody calls the office, check the website or the Facebook page. And lastly, an update about Addison Creek at Cermak. The bridge work that's actually been going on for the last 2 years. The delay was because of a conflict with the bridge design and the village's infrastructure. So again, we had sewer and water running up under the Addison Creek that was in conflict to their original designs. The good news is that the designs have been modified. All of our infrastructure has been earmarked or approved by MWRD, and they're moving some of the material into place to have that project completed within the next 30 to 45 days, hopefully. So that's all I have to report, Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham?
Yes, thank you for updating us on the senior van pool days of operation now, so that's pretty much how it's gonna be between the hours. Thank you for updating that. That's it.
Thank you, trustee Senior. Trustee Chalmalave? Trustee Shelby?
No questions, just hope that by Friday it's not too much snow.
I will. Thank you, trustee Armour.
Regarding TSP parking and the meters, the rate in which we're gonna charge for the meters, I got the TSP announcement that you gave us, right? But it doesn't have a dollar. You said $1 we're gonna charge, $1. It doesn't have the analysis for $1 on here.
That is correct, trustee. I believe, I don't know if you were present at the last board meeting, but the question was, or should I say, what the board indicated that they would like to see was the performer that is dated, that was done by TPC, I believe it was 2020. 2019, is it 2019? Okay. And the discussion was as to what rate we would roll these pay for parking out. And we did offer up the fact that we had performers at 50 and 75 cents. So, but no, that $1 rate performer is not on there.
Yeah, the analyses for, you have any idea how much revenue that's gonna be bringing in? Like, I mean, you know, just like to see the detail.
Well, I would say, even though the information that you have is dated, and I believe they have 50 and 75% occupancies, so you could probably take the 50 cent, multiply that by 2, and obviously, you know, some adjustments that I'm not ready to make right now, which is CPI and some other things that may have factored in to, you know, diminish the net return that was being projected.
Okay, but we should really look into trying to have some hard numbers as we need the revenue. And I'm pretty sure we all want to know how much revenue that's going to actually bring in. And I know I can do the figures, right? But thank you. You know, I appreciate getting this. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, trustee Miller.
No questions.
Thank you. So, Director Ames, before you leave the podium, you want to tell them about the funding that we just received today?
Yeah. We put in a grant for green infrastructure for the village's parking lot. That was done maybe 6 months ago. We collected all of the information. We used the firm that the village was contracted with, along with the engineers, to provide the data that was required, and we received the grant to the tune of $300,000, which should fund about 2/3 of the project out here. So, yeah, it is to alleviate, obviously, stormwater collection by allowing the surface to absorb, you know, the stormwater as opposed to collecting it into basins and channeling it underground through pipes and so forth and so on. So, we're pleased about that. But yeah, great job, team.
Thank you. So I just want to elaborate on that. So the grant, we applied for $362,000, but we got awarded $300,000. And when we talk about environmental issues and concerns that we have, stormwater waste is part of the environment and how we can reduce that. So we work really hard in this space called environmental issues as it relates to climate change on how we could do more with less. So when we talk about projects like this, you may not think of it as significant as it is, but it's also a part of our climate. And so we look for green infrastructure, like we have a lot of green infrastructure alleys that's in the village of Broadview, so that we don't have the storm wastewater that continuously flood people's basements. So we've been working really hard in the environmental space as it relates to solar paneling, green infrastructure, EV charging stations. So things are starting to happen. Broadview is blessed beyond measure. So thank you, Director Ames, for getting the grant in and getting this through the MWRD.
You're welcome, Mayor. It was a team effort. Thank you.
Thank you. And then as it relates to the TPS for the parking meters, this is new to us. And so when we talk about what is our return on our investment, when you don't have the data, so that you can project. That's why the cost is so low for the meters, because we have to collect the data. People have not even started parking in these parking lots, so we have no data. 2023, we're actually collecting data. And then in 2024, we can start making projections for 24, 25, 26, because we're seeing usage in the lots. So it's a process, even though I know Trustee Armour wants like immediate answers, and the questions she's asking are really good questions. But the reality of it is, for us, this is all new to us. We don't even have the data to make an assessment. We can assume it, but we want to be as close to accurate when we talk about our budget and how we implement that into the budget. So thank you. Mr. Clerk?
Thank you, Director Ames. Next, we have the Administrative Department, Village Administrator Letisa Jones.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees, and residents, community. My report as well is on file with the mayor's office and also the clerk's office. Just a couple highlights. We did have on our website and also on Indeed, as far as when it comes to any open positions that we have. So like Director Ames did say, we did hire 3 for our seasonal. Also, we received 1 application for a code enforcer, 1 application for a part-time driver with the PACE bus, and also 2 for records clerk in the police department. And they're all Broadview residents. So I do appreciate that. Anytime we have open positions, we do post them on our website, which is www.broadview-il.gov. Also, we do post on Indeed as well. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham?
No questions.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave? Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
No questions. Good job.
Thank you. Trustee Miller?
So the 1 position for Public Works, or 2 positions for Public Works, whatever it was filled. Are the other positions still open, and you're accepting?
No, it closed as of the 16th, last Friday, so where we will start interviews after the holiday.
So we're going to interview even though there's only 1 applicant for some of the roles?
No, we have a total of 4.
Right, but you broke it down like 1 PACE driver applicant?
Yes.
So you're going to start interviews for a position for just 1 applicant?
Yeah, this is the second time, just so you know, trustee, this is the second time that it was on our website, because we had it as far as for October, then we had it again November, then we had it again December. So these are the numbers for December.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jones.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Next is item 8, old business. We have none at this time. Bringing us to item 9, new business. A, an ordinance of the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois, granting a special use to 280E LLC to allow for the operation of an adult-use cannabis dispensary on the property located at 4,000 Village Square Drive, Broadview, Illinois.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I'm going to ask the Board of Trustees to table this. I would like to run it through committee with Trustee Chalmalave, Public Property. Trustee, can you send it, well, I would like to table this.
That's fine, Mayor. I'll make a motion to table.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Abraham, seconded by Trustee Armour, correct?
Yes.
To table this. Do we have a date, or is it going to be just?
So Trustee Chalmalave, can you send me some dates? And then I need to have a conversation as it relates to the purpose of us bringing it to a committee meeting.
So at this time, we're going to table this until further notice?
Yes,
Okay. Would you like a roll call at this time, Madam President?
please.
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalave?
Yes.
Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby?
Yes.
Trustee Armour?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And Madam President, this is going to be tabled indefinitely until further notice.
We're just going to wait for Trustee Chalmalave to give us some dates that she can meet to have the committee meeting.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank
Next
you.
item, B, an ordinance authorizing and approving a settlement agreement with SKM LLC Legacy for the disposal of fire department personal property for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve?
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Miller, seconded by Trustee Senior. Madam President, open for discussion.
Thank you, Chief Kinney, or Deputy Chief Martin, you want to tell us about it?
Yes, I actually, any questions you may have, if with your permission, I'm going to defer to Tiffany, the
Yeah,
lawyer.
that's fine.
Because I believe she's the one who did the most work
Yep.
on this to make this
To bring it home.
Yes.
Okay, well, just essentially, you know, the village had purchased a fire engine from Legacy and it was a used engine, and the fire engine really just had some issues with it that the village just could no longer use the engine. It was no longer a safe engine. So in order to get some money back and to be able to settle everything and settle all claims, we have entered into a settlement agreement, or we have negotiated, rather, a settlement agreement with them. This was partially discussed in closed session as it was a settlement agreement, but in open session here, I can let you know that they agreed to some of the terms, such as payment of the money that they are going to give back to the village within 10 days, and a revision of the confidentiality clause to acknowledge the fact that the village has certain obligations under the Freedom of Information Act as well as the Open Meetings Act. So we talked about the concerns that the board had with them, and I think that we sufficiently addressed those concerns.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments? Bless you.
No.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
No comments.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
I don't have any questions, but I just would like to just keep in mind that, and we should put a lot of emphasis on, you know, this is final, they can't come back and sue us. And I know you've already, I did read the legislation. And
It's in the settlement agreement, and actually, it would be us that would be suing them, if anything. So, yeah, you know, this is in my opinion, a good deal given the circumstances.
do you know how much we paid for the engine?
We paid, I think, around 50, we're getting 35 back, but it was an as-is sale, and with as-is sales, there's always difficulty getting anything back, because there are not lemon laws that apply to used vehicles, nor are there lemon laws that apply to fire department vehicles. And to be quite honest, I would urge the General Assembly to look at that, especially as it relates to fire department and police vehicles. I think that that's a very serious thing, and the General Assembly should really look at some legislation to protect municipalities against something like this.
Well, the legislation was clear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it, Trustee Armour?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
No questions. I just appreciate you pointing out the dollar amount. I thought that was important for the residents to know. That was it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, you can, Madam President. Roll call. Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Chamalave.
Yes.
Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes.
Trustee Armour.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
And this carries 6-0. Thank you all. Next, item
Thank you.
C. An ordinance for the levy of taxes for fiscal year 2022 for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve. Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Abraham. Madam President?
Thank you. Director Hicks, can you tell us about this levy?
So this is the final tax levy for the fiscal '22 taxes. The total levy turned out to be $7,714,345. This levy is a little less than 5% increase from the previous fiscal '21's levy. And it's an increase from the estimated levy based upon the actual fire and police pension amounts, and then also to ensure that the other areas that we could maximize the amount that we can levy for. So it increased about $100,000 from the estimated levy, which would be the maximum amount that we could levy for fiscal '22 taxes.
Thank you. So I do want to point out, when we look at our budget overall and we levy for these taxes, police pension is $1,706,224, and the fire pension is $2,096,824. So when we're looking at the bulk of our budget, fire and police pensions takes up the bulk of our budget. And so we levy the taxes so that we can minimize risk, right? Director Hicks?
Yeah, so that's the what they call the ARC, which is the annual required contribution amount to be able to keep the fire and police pensions at an amount that would ensure that our fire and police can have a pension when they retire.
Yep.
We also, levy for IMRF, but those amounts compared to fire and police pension, IMRF is only $203,750, which is really, really minute when it comes to a pension amount. But and the other thing, when you look at the actual amount that goes into the corporate fund, which is our general fund, it's only $634,490. So the amount that we actually levy, that we get to utilize for our general fund compared to the overall levy is really, really small, right? Really, really small. So less than 10% of the total levy goes toward the general fund.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham?
No questions.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave? Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
I just want to make a comment. I don't have a question. I really appreciated the plan that we have laid out for those property taxes coming in, for the revenue that's going to come in from this. It just makes a lot of sense to see the line items and how we plan on allocating the money, which is really cool. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Trustee. Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
You say yes?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
sorry.
thank you. Trustee Chalmalave?
Yes.
Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby?
Yes.
Trustee Armour?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And this carries 6-0. Thank you all. Next, item D, an ordinance of the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois, approving a purchase and sale agreement for certain village-owned property between the Village of Broadview and Modern Printing Colors, Inc.
I'm asking the Board of Trustees to table this as well.
I make a motion that we table this item.
I second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Armour, seconded by Trustee Chalmalave, was it? To table this item. Madam President,
Yes, that's.
roll call?
Yes.
Do we have a date when we're going to table this until?
To our next board meeting.
Okay, so this is a table till next. Roll call, Trustee Abraham,
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalave,
Yes.
Trustee Senior,
Yes.
Trustee Shelby,
Yes.
Trustee Armour,
Yes.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
and this is tabled to our next board meeting. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Next, item E, a resolution authorizing and approving an agreement with Edwin Hancock Engineering Company to prepare the Phase 1 project development report for the Roosevelt Road East streetscape improvements for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve. Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Chalmalave. Madam President?
Director Ames, you want to tell us about this agreement?
Yeah, this agreement is for the Roosevelt Road corridor improvement that we've been talking about, east of 17th Avenue down to 9th Avenue. So we were awarded a grant from Cook County for the design engineering, and Hancock Engineering was the firm, obviously, that the village used for its design. So they will design that corridor, construction specs, and they will make it shovel-ready. So the good news about that is, as we seek the funding for the construction phase of that, as it says, we use multiple funds for Roosevelt Road, 17th Avenue West, state, county, and TIF funds. We're hoping to use the same, and anything that might be identified is more. So
Thank you. Trustee Abraham?
No questions.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
No questions.
Trustee Miller?
Can we state the amount that we're approving?
the The grant amount was $120,000. The design contract, I believe, is 160. What is it?
170,
171? Okay, well, I don't have that in front of me right now, but you guys do. So that being said, yeah, there is obviously a portion that the village is gonna have to pay for. And the good news is that this is a TIF-eligible expense.
I just wanted it stated for the record. I mean, it wasn't
No,
to
please.
trick anybody up. It was literally because the public should know how much we're expending. That's all. Thanks. Thank you.
Is that it?
Thank you.
So before you leave the podium, I want to talk about shovel-ready projects and the position that we put ourselves in. So when we apply for these types of funding for Phase 1 engineering, that's the first step. This is going to allow us to entertain federal dollars. So now, state and federal have changed the landscape of what grants look like. And now that it's changed, we have to be ready. So we have to spend money up front so that we can start receiving all these dollars. So if you look at the history since this administration's been in office, the millions of dollars we have gotten to do a lot of these projects is because the department heads and we have planning meetings, we have capital project meetings, and we lay it out, and then we go after these fundings. But we put ourselves in position to receive. So we are receiving a lot of money to do a lot of different projects because we're prepared. And that's prepared for, in this arena, is shovel-ready. A lot of my colleagues are not even shovel-ready. They don't have a plan. So they miss the opportunity on the funding that can impact their community. But we're gonna always put our best efforts first in how we look at how we spend our money, how we look at projects, and what's best for Broadview. So it's a collaboration of all the department heads working together to make sure that we entertain all the grants, and we've been very, very successful. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like a roll call now, Madam President?
Yes, please.
Yes, ma'am. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Chamalave? Yes. Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby?
Yes.
Trustee Armour?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yeah.
And this carries 6-0. Thank you all. Next, item F, a resolution approving the 2023 holiday schedule for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion.
To approve. Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Armour. Madam President?
Trustee Abraham, you have any questions?
No, none.
Excuse me, Trustee Senior,
No questions.
Trustee Chamalave,
No questions.
Trustee Shelby,
No questions.
Trustee Armour,
No questions.
Trustee Miller,
No questions.
Mr. Clerk?
Roll call. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Chamalave?
Yes.
Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby?
Yes.
Trustee Armour?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
This carries 6-0. Thank you all. Next, item G, a resolution establishing the annual meeting schedule for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Miller, seconded by Trustee Armour. Madam President?
Trustee Abraham,
No questions.
Trustee Senior,
No questions.
Trustee Chamalave. None. Trustee Shelby,
No questions.
Trustee Armour,
No questions.
Trustee Miller,
No questions.
Mr. Clerk?
Roll call. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Chamalave?
Yes.
Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby?
Yes.
Trustee Armour?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
This carries 6-0. Thank you all. Next, item H, a resolution authorizing and approving expenses related to attendance at the National League of Cities Congressional City Conference in Washington, D.C. for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion
Motion to approve. Did you miss G? Second.
Who made the second? It's been properly motioned by Trustee Miller, seconded by Trustee Armour. Madam President, open for discussion.
Thank you. So the total cost for me to attend this conference is $2,407.33. This includes the $540 for the conference and program registration, $1,540.33 for lodging, and $327 for travel. And so this is our annual advocacy, NLC with our federal advocacy. And because I sit on the federal committees, the environmental committee, it's important that I be at this conference. So Trustee Abraham,
No questions.
Trustee Senior,
No questions.
Trustee Chamalave,
None.
Trustee Shelby,
No questions.
Trustee Armour,
I don't have any questions.
Trustee Miller,
No questions.
Mr. Clerk?
Roll call. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Chamalave?
Yes.
Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby?
Yes.
Trustee Arma?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And this carries 6-0. Thank you all. Next, item 10, application for the authority to expend funds. We have none at this time. Item 11, closed session. We have none. Item 12, village clerk's report. I'll be real brief. I just want to wish all of our Broadview residents, staff, and businesses a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday season. I was privileged to attend the annual Christmas Improviso party over at Proviso West High School this Saturday. And so many families from different towns were blessed, and I was so proud to be a part of Broadview Strong. We showed out. Everyone, from what I heard, wants to be like Broadview. We rolled out the red carpet. Our department heads were there. Our staff was there. Some of the families that received, or I should say were on the receiving end, were so happy and blessed. And I'm going to be honest, I was almost in tears when I saw Mayor Thompson break down, because it touched her. And, you know, I have not had that feeling in a long time about giving and seeing people that are in need really take advantage of what we have to offer. And that is in the form of our sponsorships, our teamwork, and a commitment to the city of Broadview, the town of Broadview. So, Mayor Thompson, once again, we did the thing, and everyone that was there saw exactly what I saw. We also had the annual parade, the Christmas parade, and that was a fun parade. We had a lot of decorations that I didn't see last year in Broadview. People are really starting to get involved in the Christmas spirit, it seems, and the more time we invest into the community, the more it seems that the community gives back in their involvement and appreciation for what we do and work hard for. So with that being said, it's good to see everyone in the Christmas spirit. Wishing everyone safe travels. If you will be traveling this weekend, please be mindful of the weather. I've canceled all my plans, so just be safe out there and happy holidays. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Clerk.
Next is item 13, Village President, Mayor Katrina Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk, and happy holidays and Merry Christmas to the entire village of Broadview. It has been a very, very busy December for me, and that's why you all received the department heads' reports late, because I hadn't even had time to read them. And, but anyway, so a couple of things. Our COVID is rising, and I am encouraging everybody to wear your mask indoors. We are at a medium level per the Cook County website. We had 26 new COVID cases, and we are at 85% of increase from last week. So now that we're getting close into the holidays, it's important that you protect your loved ones and yourself. I'm encouraging you to do COVID testing if you're hosting holiday events at your house. I can't tell adults what to do. I could just recommend, but it's important when you're in closed indoor spaces, wear a mask. I put out a robocall about the COVID numbers rising. It wasn't to interrupt anybody. It was to keep you safe and out of harm's way. And I will continue to do the robocalls as it relates to the village of Broadview so that you are aware and you can take precautions on what's best for you and your loved ones. I did have some notes, but I left them on my desk as it relates to COVID. But all I can tell you is mask up. If you have not been vaccinated, get vaccinated. Or if you have been vaccinated, I would encourage you to get all of the vaccinations to bring you up to current. If you have not taken a flu shot, I'm encouraging you to take a flu shot. And there's a lot of respiratory things that's taking place. So, you know, just protect yourself and wear a mask when you indoor or if you're in a confined space. I can't say it no other way. It's just take care of you and your loved ones, because I know I'm going to do that. If you have a senior on your block and you notice that they left their garbage cans out on the curb, you know, like for me, it's Mondays. And on Tuesday, I got a neighbor that's 87 years old that live on the corner. If I see her garbage on Tuesday, I pull her garbage can to her garage. Because one, she's either out of town visiting her daughter, or two, it's so cold or it's icy and slick outside, she's afraid to fall. So let's be a good neighbor, and let's love on one another. We should be loving each other in this community, and we are an Asian community. So we have a lot of seniors that may rely on us. They do have loved ones that may come over from time to time, but that immediate result can impact somebody and help them from a slip and fall or broken hip. So let's kind of help them out, especially when it's snowing and icy outside. Also, if you pull your garbage cans into the street, that is a violation of our ordinance. Please pull your garbage cans on the parkway, because when Public Works is out plowing and they plow in the streets and your garbage cans is in the way, it prevents them from doing a really good job for us. The building department, the code enforcer will be giving out warnings. Second time, you're gonna get a citation, because we have to make sure that we effective when we pushing snow. That is a village ordinance. We will get some marketing and some messaging out as it relates to that. As we enter into the new year, let's practice patience, kindness, and loving each other. We are a small village that's doing a lot of great work, a lot of great work. All of the department heads work extremely hard. They work on their days off, 24/7, some of them. And it's important that we continue to keep the momentum going of let's help each other. This board, we are a group of women leaders. And I'm just proud to say that I'm happy that I get to legislate with each and every one of you. And when you come with your comments, your questions, it doesn't make me feel some kind of way. I'm glad that you ask questions. But I also want you to be informed and intentional in the questions that you ask, so that you don't look like you don't know what you're talking about, or you misinformed or misled. And so let's just continue to love on each other. We are a group of women that should be loving on each other. Operation Santa. Sergeant, he's retired now, but Sergeant Conforti, Dan Conforti, and I started Operation Santa 11 years ago. We started with $2,500 we raised in 3 weeks to serve the families with the greatest need in Broadview. And when we identified that it was something that we needed to do every year for Broadview, you see a lot of beautiful homes, they manicured yards, they look like everything is going well for them. But what we found out, the first family that we visited, it was 6 people in that family, 4 children and 2 adults in a 1-bedroom apartment. The kids were sleeping in the kitchen with 2 bunk beds. Operation Santa has been going strong for 11 years because we don't know the struggle that people have. And it's important that leadership recognize that and do something intentionally to serve someone. We have people that's elected officials that's having hardship. And I just have to say this in my truth and in my transparency. If anybody served in the village of Broadview and they experience a hardship, we're gonna help. I don't care what it looks like. If you're an elected official and you experience a hardship and we know, we would be doing a disservice to our own people in our own community. So I just want to put it out there that I'm going to help. Anybody that's on this board that face a financial hardship and I know about it and we can help, we should be helping. Anybody that lives in the village of Broadview and you have a person that serves on this board and they need a job, whether it's a youth or an adult, but they reside in the village of Broadview and we can give and they qualify for the position, it's not nepotism. Because guess what? I'm not related to nobody on this board. The only people I'm related to is my mother, my daughter, and my 3 nieces in the whole entire state of Illinois. So anybody that's looking for a job that qualify and go through the vetting system, through the department heads and our village administrator, they qualify, they get the job. That's fair. If we serve on boards, we should be able to help people, regardless of where they come from, if they qualify for the position, especially the residents that live here. But I want everyone to know I'm not related to anybody on this board. 3 people in the state of Illinois that I'm related to. 4, my daughter, my mother, and my 3 nieces, that's 5. I'm a transplant, and proud to say I'm from Inglewood, California. Amazon Fresh. So the families, how we identify the families, we go through the school system because they work with the counselors and the social workers in the schools. And how we get these families, we have families from Roosevelt School, Bellwood. No, we didn't have any from the Bellwood because we do have students that's there, but we didn't get any from Bellwood, but it was Kamarick, Roosevelt School, and Lindop. And we got 14 families that we were able to bless. We get that from the school system because they know that it's a great need. And we don't identify, we just get the name, and we don't know if they're homeless, we don't know if they're part of DCFS, or they being cared by a grandparent or a loved one, but there's a need because the school is working with these kids every single day. These are how families are chosen. Now, it may become a time where we know that someone is having a hardship, like we had the fire on 25th, and the grandma is raising the kids. She didn't have a need, but it was important for us to make sure that she had access to food. Sure. So Amazon Fresh, in the Proviso Township, they blessed 100 families with $150 worth of groceries tonight. She was one of the recipients. This is what we do in the village of Broadview. We identify people with the greatest need and get them to the resource. That's our job, is to serve people. Not to grandstand and be braggadocious and saying, look at me. It's not about that. It's about serving at a high level. So in Broadview, we had 25 families tonight that received $150 in groceries. And families came from all over the township, whether it was Maywood, Bellwood, North Riverside. But that's the work that we do. That's the work that people don't see. Those are the things we don't brag about. Because if you're doing selfies saying, I'm helping the homeless, you self-serving. That's not what we do. Trustee Miller runs a program every year. She don't tell nobody about it, but she may ask, do I have access to help her out to put these packages together to go to the homeless? She does that every year. Nobody knows that. Well, they do now, but that's what she do. So I want to thank our team and our sponsors that sponsored the Christmas Improviso. That's a selected group. It's by invitation only. This year was a little bit different. We did Christmas Improviso at Proviso West High School. Speaker Welch had the speaker circle where he gave out like these huge gifts, like they either got TVs, computers, laptops. That was part of his giving back to his 7th district families. The towns that participated this year was Broadview, Bellwood, Maywood, Westchester, North Riverside, Melrose Park, and Hillside. We invite all of the towns to participate, and it's up to them to participate or not, but it's just simply amazing, and all of the trustees were invited to participate, but it's literally, you have to see it. But it's not, it's by invitation only, so it's literally the elected officials and the families. But this week, on Wednesday, we're gonna have the dinner with the families that was a part of Proviso Town, with the Christmas in Proviso, where we'll have the sit-down dinner with those families, with the Board of Trustees and the department heads and our volunteers that help us every day. We're gonna have a meal at the Broadview Family Restaurant where we have a special guest. And I promise you all, I don't ask for this stuff, but this person, everything that we ask them to buy for these families, they didn't get it at Christmas at Proviso, they bringing them to the restaurant to bless these kids. And these kids are asking for like stuff I don't even know, video games, what is it, Xbox and stuff like that. And he has a whole team of people shopping to make sure he can make every dream come true on Wednesday. 34 kids. He buying something for 34 kids, and I promise you, nothing on that list is under $100. It's not. But he's investing back into our community to say, I appreciate the work that you and the Board of Trustees are doing for the village of Broadview. He grew up right here in the Proviso Township. So we're grateful for all of our sponsors and our donors that help us get through this. Broadview, we are so blessed. I just get full. We are so blessed when you see these kids smiling and just loving on you. Chief Kenny, I mean, even Deputy Chief Martin was like, this is just amazing. He had never seen it before. But it's just something that we've been doing for 11 years, and I have to say, I didn't do it by myself. Retired Sergeant Dan Crawfordy was the one who, we put our noodles together and initiated a plan. We ran it through the police department so that we can protect the integrity and the confidentiality of the families that's being selected. And it's been going strong for 11 years. So I just want to say, Broadview, I just love you immensely because I cannot do this work without your support. So thank you very, very much. We had the ribbon cutting today with SCT, and that's an occupational facility, and it's really nice in there. If you all get a chance to go back, you should go back and do the tour. It's really nice, and they're looking to bring physical therapy in there. I asked them if they could bring yoga. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I thought that was a good, how they just refaced that whole corridor on that corner. It looks really nice. And those are the things and the projects that we want to bring to the Roosevelt Road corridor, because that's where our next vision is to develop the corridor, to bring lucrative business to our town that we can support and that can sustain for many, many, many years after I'm long gone and this board and they got a new board that can carry on the history and the legacy of that Roosevelt Road corridor. So we're working extremely hard to make that happen. I don't know if many of you all know, but I chair our cross-community climate collaboration, and that's with Village President Vicky Skaman, Oak Park, and Village President Kathy Aducci. And so we are into this environment space, and right now we are talking about climate crises and the equity and sustainability outcomes. So we have signed an MOU with 15 other communities, and I'm really excited about that because the other communities are starting to believe in the work that we're doing, and we're working with our team and our consultants to initiate a climate crisis plan that we all can adapt and put into place for your respective municipality. So it's a lot of things that's taking place, and things just fall in my lap that I just cannot explain, but I know it's God. I promise you, it has got to be. Because I was part of the kickoff for the Discovery Partner Institute at NASA. So when we talk about NASA, I didn't know what I was getting into when I got there, but they are working on plans that impact the environment. And guess what? Broadview is at the table with them. We're at the table with NASA doing this project. And when they talk about how they look at things from space to Earth, it's just mind-blowing. And when we talk about the applied science and the earth science, the careers that young people can tap into to make them lucrative and productive in the community. So we're talking the issues that came up was heat, air quality, health, and crime. And so we tie in crime into the environment so that we can be more proactive in how we care for our communities that's got high crime. At the end of the day, I don't know what the roadmap is going to look like. We just had our kickoff on last week, and I'm really excited about that. And I got some more exciting news, but I'll tell you after January 19th because I can't talk about it. But I'm excited. But that's all that I have. I just want to say Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy New Year. Let's go into the new year being friendly, kind, and loving each other. And most importantly, let's support one another. So God bless you. And I love you, Trustee Miller, Trustee Armour, Trustee Shelby, Trustee Chalmalavi, Trustee Senior, and Trustee Abraham, and of course, our leading man, Clerk McGreer.
Love you too, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you for a great 2022, and I'm looking forward to 2023 because we on the move. We are on the move, and there's great things that's taking place in the village of Broadview, and can't do it without the department heads and the leadership in their respective departments. So thank you all, and God bless you.
Thank you, Mayor.
I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. I
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Miller, seconded by Trustee Armour to adjourn this evening's meeting. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Hearing no opposition, we are hereby adjourned at 8:57 p.m. Thank you all. Merry Christmas.